This is GoPowercat.com publisher Tim Fitzgerald. Thank you for listening to this Powercat podcast. Make sure you never miss an episode of the Powercat podcast by subscribing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, or your favorite podcast network. And if you enjoy this podcast, please consider becoming a subscriber to GoPowercat.com. We cover the Wildcats like no one else, with our VIP customers enjoying one-of-a-kind coverage from our team of professional journalists. And sign up today for an annual subscription to GPC and grab a 30% discount on your first year. And now here's the Powercat Podcast.
The following is a GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street production. You've discovered your link to GoPowercat.com's Powercat Sources Podcast, presented by Blue Mark Energy, and it starts right now. Now, let's go to the WTC Gig-Powered Studios. Here's your host, GoPowercat.com publisher, Tim Fitzgerald.
Welcome to another edition of the Powercat Sources Podcast. I am GoPowercat publisher Tim Fitzgerald, and this is your first real tour after a game and how we're going to be running the Sources Podcast, at least during football season. We're sponsored by Blue Mark Energy. If you are a consumer of natural gas in large quantities, if you're a farmer, an ag operation, schools, large businesses, restaurants, give Blue Mark Energy a call. They can save you money, and they're K-State owned. First, let's take you back to the post-game press conference as the players piled into the interview room. We'll get to some of the sound that we collect in a post-game press conference, and quite honestly, we collect it for typing up quotes, but now we're going to share it with you in this Sources podcast. And we're going to start off with Skylar Thompson. The Go Powercat staff got the first 6 minutes with Skylar. D. Scott Fritchen, Michael Goins, and myself kind of ushered him through his feelings about that game. Then after that, we're going to turn our attention to the running backs, Harry Trotter, James Gilbert, and Jordan Brown. But let's not mess around. Here is a very happy Skylar Thompson after Kansas State's 49-14 victory over Nicholls.
Feels pretty good. I'm not going to lie. The feeling walking off the field tonight was truly special. Truly a feeling that I struggle to put in words, honestly. It was just a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifices that I put into my daily life to go out and play the way I did today, and our team did as well. I felt like on all cylinders we were firing today. We were running the ball well. We were clicking in the passing game. We were efficient in a lot of aspects, and it was fun to play in. I had a lot of fun today. I think that's the best way to put it.
How'd your running backs play?
Played tremendous. I think it goes without being said. You know, our O-line did a great job today. You know, our running backs ran the ball well, but you know, without guys up front working, opening up holes for them, you know, it's going to be a tough time running the ball. So our front guys did a great job today, and we just, like I've said before, we got a great group of running backs that have experience. They're not selfish. Whenever they get a chance to run the ball, their number's called, they run it. And it's a lot of fun to go play with those guys, and it was fun to watch James and Jordan and Harry, all three of them. You know, they're kind of their first time, you know, getting in a K-State uniform and just showing them what they're made of, and it was a blast. I was so excited for them.
4 touchdowns in the first 4 possessions. Hadn't seen a K-State offense operate like that in quite a while.
Yeah.
What can you say about the impressive start?
You know, we were just confident. We were confident, and we trusted our coaches. Our coaches did a great job of putting us in great positions. Coach Messingham, I mean, we were ahead of the sticks all night tonight, and that makes life pretty easy. And never put us in a tough situation. It was easy to manage, and just, you know, I just tried to do my job to the best of my ability. Whatever they asked me to do, I was trying to do my best at, and that's what everybody did. And we moved the ball well. We scored and we got in the red zone, and that was something that we put an emphasis on this offseason because we struggled in that, you know, in last year. So it was just a lot of fun. It was so much fun. I can't. I was speechless, honestly.
Skylar, was the offensive line licking its chops to get after somebody today?
Yeah, I mean, I was super excited for that group of guys. they have a lot of experience, and they're all seniors. Have a lot of just juice to them. I think that's the best way to put it. Those guys are nasty, and that's the staple of our offense. We want to have a powerful run game, be efficient in the passing game, and we did both of those things today and didn't turn the ball over. I think that's the best stat that we could possibly have. And we had 0 turnovers and just a couple penalties. I mean, I felt like we played a clean game, and that was exciting to with a new offense and a lot of new stuff going on. That's hard to do, and I felt like we did a great job of that today. And it was just fun to watch those O-linemen go to work. They're a great group of guys. I've gotten to be really close with them this offseason, and just we were just having fun out there. Like that's I'm just so thankful because it's just it felt great walking off the field knowing our guys are loving the game. They're loving the game. We're loving one another. We're playing for one another, and that's what this game's all about.
Skylar, in that first drive, 20 different guys played for you on the field, and you seem like you had a different personnel set for every snap you had. Is that challenging, or is that just a blast?
No, it's a blast. It's a blast. I mean, we got that's more credit going to our coaching. They know where to put our certain personnel and put guys in positions to be successful for our football team. And they know how to set up plays for other guys. And, I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome to be back there, and just the best way to put it is just trust. I trust our coaches so much, and I know that they're going to put us in great positions to be successful, and we just got to execute the best of our ability and do our job. That's what it comes down to, and we did that today, and that's it, the results reflected that.
Between being under center and all that pre-snap motion that you guys show, how much more comfortable were you with reading that defense before the ball's even snapped?
Yeah, well, they did a lot what we expected today. And our coaches prepared us for that. There wasn't really anything that they gave us that I was surprised with, but just with all the pre-snap motioning and the shift trade and little adjustments, it helps. It helps, and it simplifies some things for me, and just helps me just play fast and make quick decisions and be efficient.
But at the end of the day, when you're averaging six yards a carry, it takes all the pressure off a quarterback, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it opened up our whole offense. Our play action game was really, really good today. We were throwing our quick game, well, making plays off schedule when we needed to. But yes, when we were running the ball 6 yards a carry, and we're getting ahead of the sticks all day, I don't think we were in third and anything past 3rd and 5 today. I mean that's probably a scenario I've never ever been in, honestly. But it's fun to play in this offense, and it does take some pressure off of me to get our running game going, and it gave we just played well together today. I think that's what was awesome to be a part of, is whenever we were running the ball, we were running that freaking ball, and our receivers were out there blocking their butts off for them. Whenever we got called to pass the ball, we made catches and made plays, and I just try to put the ball where our guys can just go make a play and be safe with it. So it was just fun to be a part of today, and I'm thankful.
Yeah, just showed them what I'm capable of doing, that I proved that I belong here. And, just that we got a, three-headed monster that we're going to come out and play hard and play physical every game.
I mean, you kind of touched on it there, the three-headed monster. How deadly does that make it moving forward, knowing that, hey, if one guy's not doing it, you can always turn to another one?
Yeah, it's pretty deadly, just that in the fact that we can keep us all, going and healthy and energized. And, we can all do some different things. So, it felt great just rotating in with those guys and kind of getting in a rhythm.
This is one performance. How can you guys be even better? And can you guys be even better?
Yeah, we can definitely be better. I know I can improve on a lot of things. I think building on this and using it as experience, and having our first game under the new coaching staff and know how things are going to go now. I think just improving on that and building that.
Obviously, when you have that effective of a running game, you don't really need much of a passing attack, but Skylar seemed to be really, really efficient today. What did you think about him?
Yeah, that's the thing about the run game, is that, we got to be successful, that we can open up those play action passes and do stuff for Skylar. And, Coach Mess dialed up some good stuff today. So running backs just got to keep being successful and open up those passes for those guys.
How good was that offensive line?
Great, man. Those guys were doing it all night long. I told them anything they want, it's on me tonight. So those guys had a game tonight, man. I appreciate all of them.
You're gonna regret that.
Yeah.
Go through your touchdown there on that opening series there, and you had some big plays in that drive.
Yeah, touchdown was just an outside zone play. They logged it. I was able to get outside and make a couple guys miss and get in there. But like I said, just offensive line, and give the credit to my teammates on that.
5 different guys score rushing touchdowns. How big is that? Because that's kind of what you guys have talked about all preseason, the committee aspect of it.
Yeah, it's huge. All of us just getting touches and getting different looks at different plays. I think we all did a pretty good job, but we can always improve, But it was just good to get everybody involved and, get everybody some touches.
And Skylar's taking the next step up, and he's the right guy for the quarterback position to lead our team. And I feel like just that little play, his knowledge of the game, and he's watching extra film, getting us all ready. He made a little check to make it to a run, and then he caught it, and we scored a touchdown off of that. Just off of little simple things, just scanning the field, seeing what the defense is doing. So I feel like Skylar Thompson he's a good guy.
What impressed you most about you guys' performance as a running back core tonight?
I feel like we all ran hard, we all ran physical, we made guys miss, we didn't let one guy just tackle us, and I feel like we all communicate, helping each other out, rather run with tempo or you miss the cut or you got to do a little something else. But I feel like we all did a good job today overall.
How great was it to just get this one over with?
It's always good feeling to get the first game over with because, it's a lot of our first time all playing together and playing on this team. So I feel like just to get this out the way is a good feeling for the team.
I would imagine your decision to leave your previous school, go to someplace you had never been before, was awfully scary. But you had a 100-yard game in your first game out. Does kind of play out exactly as you hoped?
I mean, I didn't exactly know what I was going to have or expect what I was going to have. The biggest thing is to get the win, and that's what we did as a team. And I feel like just trusting the process, trusting what the coaches are trying to do, and doing your job, and all 11 guys are on the same page, I feel like we're going to get a lot of wins this year.
How good is this group of running backs?
Really good. I'm saying, y'all seen firsthand on display of what we all can do, and we haven't got our young guy in there yet, Joe Irvin. So it's going to be a lot of good things happening throughout the season with this running back group.
How great was this line to start off the season?
So we have an experienced line of 2 or 3 seniors, so I feel like just them having the chemistry and being able to play each other and communicate, I feel like it's going to make our job easier as running backs. So we're all on the same page, and we're going to just keep going ahead, keep getting better, and keep pushing each other.
Do you see kind of that Muller mentality right off the bat?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
How much confidence does your offensive line give you to run behind that group?
A lot of confidence. So, we're like a huddle team, so they always say, run behind me, 34. I got your block. Just run behind me. We're going to get you through there. So just having that extra, motivation from them, they got my back, and I can trust them making their block. It just makes me easy to run behind them.
You guys have talked all preseason about this would be a running back by committee thing, and it kind of bore out in the first game. How happy are you guys just that you were able to do it so efficiently?
We're all happy. I mean, it can be done. It's just you got to do it the right way, you know what I'm saying? And in this day and age of college football, everybody's going back to the running back committee. It's not just 1 or 2 guys just toting the ball. So I feel like just keeping everybody durable and everybody getting their touches and everybody being happy because none of us is unselfish. So I feel like just doing that throughout the season, we're going to be fresh and be ready to go in week 10, week 12, stuff like that. So, yeah.
I think we left some plays out there, so I don't think we met expectations. We left some plays out there that and we left a lot of points on the board, so we got to go back in and watch the film and get those things corrected so we can be better in the future.
What did that first touchdown feel like?
It felt great, just to get in the end zone, first game, and just see the crowd reaction. It was a great feeling.
When you guys are running the ball that effectively, I mean, it wasn't just you, it wasn't just Harry. I mean, everybody seemed to be having their way. How much fun is it when you don't have any real struggles running the ball out there?
It was fun, we knew whoever came in the game was going to do their job and make a play, and that's the mindset we had coming in tonight.
Does that kind of make you guys a little bit of a, deadly weapon you have moving forward, having 3 running backs that you can always turn to like that?
Yeah, hopefully we can keep it going in the future. Having 3 guys is always great. If someone gets tired or something, we have another guy that can come in and there's no drop off.
Now let's turn our attention to the defense, and boy, this guy made a play right out of the box. Nicholls ran 1 play and then threw an interception to A.J. Parker. Here is junior cornerback A.J. Parker about his interception on the second play of Nicholls' first possession.
Oh man, it was a blast, man. It was so much fun just to play for each other and play together as one team and one unit, and everybody was just vibing off each other and just excited for each other to make plays. And when you're playing like that, man, it's hard to be beat.
The offense comes right out of the gates, scores that touchdown, and then you seem to set a tone right away for the defense. How much fun was it for you to make a play like that just to kick off the defensive year?
I mean, that's something you dream of, you know, first, second play, whatever, just coming out, doing your job and being sound in assignment, catching the ball. Should have scored, tripping, but I mean, that's something that you always dream of.
Can you walk us through how it unfolded in your eyes?
So we were in cover 3, and you know I was playing a vertical, and I saw the out, and I saw a ball coming, so I just drove on it and caught it, picked it off.
When you have a turnover like that, it's big, but then obviously Jonathan Alexander gets in later in the game, gets not only the strip, but scoops it and scores. How big is that?
Oh, that's huge, man. The score on defense, that's always a momentum shift, and that's always a big play.
Do you feel like you played a full game tonight?
When the offense is going like that, eating up clock, just getting first downs, I mean, that's the best defense you can play, keeping the offense on the sideline. So just having them march down the field like that time after time again, I mean, it really makes it easy on us.
How fun was this?
Oh, it was incredible. It was a blast.
Do you remember the stadium being like that much last year?
I mean, it's a new year, so I don't really think about last year much. It's just a new year, new era, and it's just fun to have the fans into it, the players into it, the coaches into it. So it's exciting times.
It is just one game, I know, at the end of the day, but I mean, does it feel like you've maybe set a tone for this year that, like, hey, K-State's not in a rebuilding mode or anything like that?
That was a plan to really come out and set a tone and let everybody know that, you know, this is a new K-State team. You know, it's a new coach, it's new schemes, new everything. We're coming out and we're playing with passion, playing with effort, playing with enthusiasm. And when you're playing like that, again, it's hard to be beat.
Now let's take a quick tour of some other players on the defensive side of the ball following Saturday's win over Nicholls. In this mix, you're going to hear from Daquan Patton, Elijah Sullivan, and Jonathan Alexander. Here we go with more of the defense.
It was exciting because we haven't hit in a long time, and you know the season that we had last year put our season to an end pretty quick. So I mean, it was exciting just to get out there and hit some guys.
What were your thoughts on the defensive turnovers, AJ's interception, and the strip and the scoop and score from Jonathan?
I was very excited, just, you know, be able to create turnovers and score and, you know, keep the offense out on the field.
Overall, that was a pretty solid all-around performance, would you say?
Yeah, it was. I know, like you said, second half we came out and let them score a little bit, but at the same time, it was a good performance. Now we're just going to go back and look at everything that we, you know what I'm saying, did wrong and try to correct them. So.
When you have a game like that where you're controlling so well in the first half, is it tough to kind of keep that mental focus in the second half coming out of the gates?
I mean, in a way, yeah, but at the same time, we know we still got a job to do at the end of the day. So, I mean, our coaches do a good job of telling us to stay focused and keying in on what we're supposed to do each play. So,
you guys had said that you wanted to make turnovers a little bit more of an emphasis this year. First off, AJ gets that big pick on the first possession. How big was that one?
Oh, that was a big one. It was pretty cool to see, especially with it being the first series of the game, too. So, it was big. And then J.A. had his second half, stripped the ball and took it in for a score, too. So, it was big just to know we had 2 turnovers in the very first game. So, we're just going to build on that, too. So
about with Jonathan's strip and scoop and score, I mean, that's a guy that we all had kind of seen physically, thought we had the traits. Do you feel like that kind of shows what type of player he is?
Oh, especially, yeah. It just shows how much depth we have on our team, just to see, you know what I'm saying, different guys roll in and keep the momentum going, you know. So, yeah, it was good to see that, especially with him running in his zone and everybody following behind him having a good time. So. And
how big is it just to start this off, this era off 1-0 and do a significant win?
Oh, it's big. You know, for Coach Klieman, this is his first game. I'm glad we set the tone off right with the game we had today. So it was big for us.
How good did the touchdown feel, though, overall?
It felt great. You know, I told Mike McCoy and Justin Hughes, I told them before the game started, I said, I'm going to get y'all one. So I don't care if it's a big hit or pick, whatever. I said, I'm going to do this for y'all. So I know. I mean, this first game, it's nothing new. You know, we expect to win because we prepare hard, but I know we're going to go hard every week, you know, especially with them being out. You know, it's just another chip on our shoulder. We got to do it for them too.
You're rotating in and out a lot, I know, but overall, what were your thoughts on the way that you kind of got your feet wet here at K-State?
I loved it. You know, the coaches, they know what they're doing. So for me, like, not starting, I don't care. Like,
I know they know what's best for the team, and they're going to do what's best for the team. So if that's Denzel Goolsby being out, I respect it. You know, like, that dude is a tremendous leader. Like, when I first got out there, my first play, I wouldn't say I was scared, but it was a little fast for me. So I just looked at it. I just kept looking at him, and he was just telling me what we had. I was like, appreciate it. We went to the sideline. He was like, bro, you a tremendous player. He's like, you know what you're going to do. You know you're going to make plays. Like, just slow it down. It's going to come to you. Like, from that moment forward, like, actually, the next drive, that's when it happened. Like, for him to just be in my head like that, I appreciate him. I just told him right before I left the locker room, I said, this not possible without you. He told me, don't get too big-headed. He said, we got a lot more to do. So we definitely just getting started.
Well, that's it for the first half of this week's Sources podcast. K-State beat Nicholls 49-14, and now it's time to move on to Bowling Green. After the break, we will turn our attention to Tuesday's press conference with Chris Klieman and selected players on the Powercat Sources podcast, brought to you by Blue Mark Energy.
Stay locked in. The Powercat podcast will be right back.
So I'm a father of one. I got to find a babysitter. I found Care.com and I was blown away. Through the platform, I was able to find local and experienced candidates along with their reviews and rates, which were way more affordable than I anticipated. Care.com really put me at ease knowing that they were all required to go through a background check. If you're like me and you need to find someone reliable for your childcare necessities, check out Care.com. Find the ideal sitters for your childcare needs.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. I'm here to tell you about Boll & Branch sheets. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. They're made from the rarest organic cotton and designed to get even softer over time. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee plus 15% off your first order with code Odyssey. So head to BOLLandbranch.com today. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
We now send it back to Fitz in the WTC Gig-Powered Studios.
Welcome back to the Powercat Sources podcast, where we collect the sound and let you hear it. Let's move on to Tuesday's press conference as we've now returned from that event. It's Chris Klieman's weekly press conference, and selected players also make an appearance. Coach Klieman covered a lot of topics, but I want to just focus in on one topic in particular. I promised you we'd look forward to Bowling Green, and we'll do that briefly here with Coach, as he was asked about this Bowling Green team that's under a new coaching staff, but they did get off to a great start with a 46-3 victory over Morgan State. Here are Coach's quick thoughts on Bowling Green.
Well, it's difficult to prepare for those guys because we're watching, obviously, their one game and then watching other games from different staffs where the coordinators were, and so you don't have it in a blowout win like they had. It's kind of difficult to say, well, this is what they do. You know, there's some carryover from what we've seen with the coordinators from other schools, but you know, it'll be a work in progress. You know, we're watching film of past years, you know, as well as not just that last game.
You only had that one game, but they obviously had offensive success. What do they do well, and how do they attack the defense schematically?
Run the ball, try to outnumber you at the point of attack with a lot of things that we would do offensively, a lot of motions, some alignments. You know, they do a good job with their receivers and tight ends blocking as well. To try to, you know, just create mismatches, try to enforce your corners into being run players by cracking your safeties, and just the different, so many multitude of formations and running some similar plays, but doing it out of a lot of different formations, and then whether it's a shift or a motion, trying to change your eyes. And our eyes on defense have to be right this week. We can't look at some of the eye candy that's motioning across in front of us. We have to focus on our keys.
Now let's move on to some of the players that we spoke to. Let's reverse this, go to the defense first. And we caught up with Denzel Goolsby and talked to him about his game and what it's like to play in this defensive system.
I think that we just had a different type of mentality, that everyone was flying around. I really like how we feed off of each other's energy. I felt like there was no time during the game where anyone was questioning on their responsibilities or what they were supposed to do. I know that we made mistakes, but we also made up for it by how fast we flew around to the football, and I think that we can only grow and get better from here.
We talked all last week and asked you guys questions. You know, they got this returning quarterback 3-4 years under his belt, and then you guys go out there and pretty much just shut him down. I mean, how good does that feel?
It feels really good. It feels really good knowing that you have a quarterback, like you said, who was a really experienced leader, and we were still able to, I think, throw pictures at him that he had never seen before. And so anytime you're doing that to a guy who's seen a lot of football and played in a lot of big games, it's special. And so now we just got to continue to grow from here. I know that Bowling Green has a really talented backfield, that they do a lot of things where they mix up their formations and they'll try to get the defense out of alignment. And so we just have to be really good with our eyes and correct into motions this week and make sure we come out with the same energy and take care of business.
When you woke up on Sunday after playing, 30 snaps, 35 snaps, did you feel like you had played a football game?
No, not at all. I think the whole defense was really fortunate by our offense being able to control the ball as long as they did. And so I think that they held the ball for like 40-something minutes or something crazy. And so the defense has no excuse to be sore this week, and I think that we're going to be able to practice fast because our legs do feel really good.
A big part of that, though, was you guys were really good on third down. You got them off the field. Is that part of that flying around and that more aggressive mentality?
Yeah, I think so. I think that we're just in really good situations where, being able to be in those third down situations where we know we can bring pressure and we know that it's crunch time. We live for moments like that, and so that's what you want. You want to be able to get off the field and give the offense the ball back and give them an opportunity to score. And so when the offense is out there and the defense is on the sideline, that's the best defense you can be playing, right? Because you're not giving the other team an opportunity to score, and so I think that's what we've been trying to focus on most this year is getting off the field.
How different is this defense and how it uses its safeties as compared to last year or previous years?
That's a good question. I think that, first of all, we're really deep. We have a really talented group of guys. I was really happy to see John have success this past week just because he deserves it. And, being able to have guys like that on the team, everyone feeds off energy like that. So I think that with us, we come to work every single week and we all feed off each other. And I think that being able to grow from each other, learn from each other, and understand that we can be our biggest critics. And so sometimes you don't have to always listen for a coach to try to correct you. We'll correct each other. We'll correct ourselves. And so we'll be hard on ourselves and be hard on each other. And that's going to make us better because we're not expecting, to be perfect. We know that we can always learn, and we know that we can always get better. And I think that the sky's the limit for us just because we're willing to stay hungry.
How good's Wayne Jones?
Wayne's great. Wayne's a great player. He has a huge ceiling, but the thing that I like about him is he wants to be great right now. And so with him, I think that he's going to be the type of player where you're going to hear his name a lot for the years to come. And I'm really excited to see what he does. And on the way that he looked on Saturday, he wasn't nervous at all for a freshman. He takes care of his business on and off the field. So I'm really excited about Wayne Jones.
Now let's hear from Daniel Green real quick. The freshman linebacker from Portland, Oregon, saw his first game action, and he said it was good to be on the field.
I just feel like learning the game even more. I feel like Coach Hayes always talks about you can always learn. The hay's not always in the barn, so every time, every game, I just feel like every game, even going off the last game, I'm my biggest critic. I always look at my mistakes. I never look at what I did well. I always look at my mistakes, what I can improve on. So every game I can not make those mistakes and go out there and play better than the game before.
Do you have a second to take a moment to look around when you got out there on the field on Saturday and think hey, I made it here?
Oh yeah, it was a beautiful feeling just going out there, hearing all the fans and just knowing I'm about to play. So it was just humbling experience. It just show you what you've been working hard for all off season. It's a blessing.
How good did it feel to run around and hit people?
I love to do that, so it was just great to go out there and hit somebody who's not wearing purple because we were doing that all spring and all fall, so it felt amazing.
Okay, you mentioned you learned from your mistakes. What did you do right and wrong in this game?
I feel like it was just a couple plays. I could have probably made a better decision on that play or even made the tackle, but I feel like just a little rust on me, you know what I'm saying? Not playing as fast as I know I could play because it's all it was and Daquan, having people like Daquan, Eli out there, they telling me man, you know what you're doing, it just, you got a little rust on you, just slow the game down, let the game come to you. So that's things I'm just gonna learn and build off of and play faster, play better every game.
Seems like a fun defense to play in, though.
Oh, yeah. It's very exciting. We got a lot of different coverages, a lot of different looks and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's going to be very fun playing this defense.
Let's flip it over to the offensive side. We had a nice discussion. The Go Powercat staff and then Arnie Green from the Salina Journal's also in this mix. Talking to Adam Holtorf, the starting center for the Wildcats, on his very strong performance in Game 1 and how good this offensive line was in rushing the ball against Nicholls.
Was the Game 1 line play, as far as cohesion, reflective of how you guys have practiced for first month of the season?
I think so. I think there's a lot to be said because, we got so many reps, working together and interchanging those pieces. And so we have a ton of reps banked with different people playing different positions. I think it really shows because of all those reps we took in preseason.
When Scott went down and you guys shifted some pieces around, did you guys miss a beat with that?
I don't think so. I think we picked up, right where the last play left off. I hated to see Scott go down like that, and I think we adjusted well given the adversity of him going down.
How different is what Connor Riley's asking you to do as opposed to Coach Dickey?
One of the biggest differences is especially in our zone blocking schemes when we run inside zone, especially. He's looking for vertical movement, whereas Coach Dickey was big on getting guys covered up and maybe getting some more lateral stretch to things, and that's something that me personally, kind of struggling a little bit to maybe break some of that muscle memory. But that's one of the big differences in blocking schemes, and I think, the idea of getting more vertical displacement has a lot of merits. You get, maybe bigger gaps opened up and things like that, and so just continuing to work on things like that.
How challenging is it, just the number of different formations and personnel groupings and just different styles of backs? Is that much of an adjustment for you guys?
It does present a challenge, but again, I go back to, the many reps we've taken, through spring and through fall camp. We've gotten so many reps banked with all those numerous formations that, we've become accustomed to it.
There weren't that many huge chunk plays in the rushing game, but it seemed like you guys were really consistent. Obviously, you'd like to have big plays, but how important is it just to be able to keep moving the sticks like you did?
That's something that, Coach Riley really stresses. We weren't maybe as efficient on first down as we'd like to be in the running game, but as a whole, continuing to, pound the ball because eventually those run plays will pop. And, those 3-4 yard runs, throughout the game ended up being 6-7 yard runs, and just continuing to stick with it. Eventually one of those is going to pop for a 15-20 yard explosive play.
And let's wrap up our sound for the week with a different guy that you haven't heard from yet, Morgan Burns. He left the program under Coach Snyder, came back to the program under Coach Klieman, and earned a scholarship. And on Saturday night, he had 10 carries against Nicholls. For Morgan Burns, it was a nice reward as he's made his way back to the football field.
It was a lot of fun. I've played special teams before, and I've gotten a few carries here and there. But yeah, that was the most I've ever gotten, just to really just run freely. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved it, and never got to experience playing offense like that. It was a lot of fun, just to, especially guys I've come in with, then I left, and I came back. They're still here. We've all been here for a long time. So it was very fun just to celebrate with guys, like my first time getting a chance to score a touchdown. It was a lot of fun.
How about that offensive line kind of paving the way for you to get there? How good were they in your eyes?
Oh, they were so good because I came with a lot of the second string line, like Noah Johnson, Christian Duffy. They killed it. I wasn't getting touched till 3 or 4 yards down, past the line of scrimmage. So honestly, they made my job really easy, and I didn't have to do that much. Maybe made a guy miss here and there, but for the most part, I just had to run.
How fun is this offensive system for running backs?
Oh, it's the perfect offense for running backs. Sometimes feel bad for the receivers and the quarterback because I know Skyler, I know he can throw and he knows it, but Mess, he loves to run the ball, and we have a great system to run the ball, and they're running the ball, sets with the pass. So, but yeah, it's a perfect offense for running backs, and it keeps you fresh too with all the running backs they cycle through.
That's it for this week's edition of the Powercat Sources Podcast, sponsored by Blue Mark Energy. If you consume large quantities of natural gas, I would encourage you to go talk to Blue Mark Energy. They'll probably save you money. We'll be back next week with more interviews with the players and coaches that make K-State football what it is. And remember, we're coming at you daily with podcasts. In fact, we had 2 today. But the pregame podcast drops on Thursdays, and a postgame podcast will arrive Saturday after the game with Bowling Green as myself and Brian Hanley break down the game that just took place at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. We appreciate you listening to the Powercat podcast, and if you're not a subscriber, it's time to solve that. We'll give you 30% off that annual subscription. Go click join and become part of the family.
You've been listening to the Powercat Sources Podcast presented by Blue Mark Energy. Powercat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street Publishing.